Hey everyone. While my R2 is still under the knife, so to speak, I thought I'd take this opportunity to kind of make a farewell video for the R1T that I sold in order to buy my R2. I had my R1T for just over 2 years and 15,000 miles. It may not sound like much mileage, but nearly every one of those miles was meaningful. Every time we had long distances to cover, we reached for the keys. Well, the phone, really. The Gen 1 R1T felt substantial. If you've driven one, you probably know what I'm talking about. It kind of felt like a tank in all the right ways and none of the wrong ones. Well, except for the suspension noise and clunkiness, but I could look past that. The truck ate through the miles without complaint or issue. It never left us stranded. Never even really went into service except for cosmetic issues and to get the tonneau cover installed. Oh yeah, the truck did have a free 12-volt replacement done in my driveway proactively by Rivian mobile service. But other than that, it was pretty much flawless. The truck received updates that added blind spot cameras, improved suspension characteristics, built-in Apple Music, new cel-shaded graphics, basically a whole new interface, Google Maps navigation, some customizable driver display things. Oh, the owl lock sound at night, that was a personal favorite of mine. Built-in YouTube, Rivian Assistant, the AI, plenty more that occurred while I had the truck for 2 years. And so, needless to say, the truck that I sold was a much different creature than the one that I drove home. If I had to nitpick, and of course I have to because I'm posting this on YouTube, there were certainly some things that bothered me about the truck. The first thing, the all-terrain tires were extremely noisy after like 10,000 miles, well before they were ready to be replaced. I mean, they probably had at least 30 or 40,000 miles of life, and starting around 10,000 miles, it was nearly unbearable to drive them on the highway, just for how loud they were. That's not the truck's fault as much as the tires, though. The suspension was obviously very capable, but very noisy and clunky over certain bumps. You know, just made the whole package feel a little cheaper than it really was. And it kind of hid the actual capability sometimes behind the noise. The Gen 1 infotainment was obviously starting to show its age a little bit. Switching between menus and different screens resulted in sometimes multi-second delays. They kept updating and adding features, but obviously the hardware is the hardware. Oh, the HVAC system, while very capable, was extremely loud from the outside, especially during hot days or while fast charging. And speaking of fast charging, the truck just charged okay for having such a big battery. There were definitely road trips where, you do your bathroom, snack, drink, walk around ritual, and then you still have to wait 4 or 5 minutes for the charging levels to get to where you need to. Which, I'm a pretty laid back road tripper, so that didn't bother me too much. But when you're traveling with other people who can charge faster, it can certainly put a damper on the trip. The camera quality, when I took delivery, felt fine. But now that it's 2026 and there's been such a massive megapixel inflation occurring in the world, I've found myself wanting a bit more clarity and things like that. And especially now compared to the R2, like I can't imagine going back to the Gen 1 camera systems. All that being said, though, none of those really detracted from my ownership and my overall love for the truck. There's obviously no vehicle that's perfect, and it's just a fact of life, right? There are trade offs for costs, there are safety concerns or regulations. Nothing can really be perfect for anyone, but I don't think anyone told all the engineers and the designers that made this truck that that was impossible. I think they really tried, and it shows. The Rivian brand has really only gotten stronger in the time that I own the truck. As a very early adopter, I've seen the company go through a lot of changes. But one thing has been pretty consistent is that they want to enable adventure for their customers, and they want the customer to kind of identify with the notion of taking their vehicle places that they normally wouldn't go, and the fact that you're allowed to do that with all the capability. And I personally found myself really making an effort to live up to the billing of the truck. Like I probably went on hikes more. I started to look for places to go explore that I have never been before. Even socially, I felt like I was wanting to meet up with friends and go places more just because it was an excuse to get in the truck. And during the ownership of this truck, I kind of found myself changing myself too. Like I got my health back on track from a place that wasn't so good to somewhere I could be proud of. I think I re-engaged with a lot of people that I maybe neglected a little bit. Honestly, just during the period of time where I owned the truck, my personal life started improving too. Now, obviously, the truck didn't do that. The truck was not responsible for the changes I made in my life, but it was there during those changes, and it was a constant in my life during that time. So I kind of have that positive association, and I'll definitely remember that fondly. And that's probably why I'll root for Rivian always. I mean, they made a product that literally propelled me to a different place in my life and got me through different periods of my life. They just make a truck, right? Or they make an SUV. But to me, it was more than just that. It was a lifestyle. A lot of people say, well, it's just marketing, right? That they want you to kind of connect with this marketing message so you buy their product. I mean, yeah, but you can also kind of turn that into a more positive, less cynical way of viewing it and say, well, what if a product enabled you to change who you are a little bit, or be more adventurous, or align yourself better with what you want to be? And that's kind of how I viewed it. The truck was sort of a way to get myself to where I wanted to be personally. So I always thank Rivian for showing me things like a truck isn't just a truck. A truck can be the time that you and a group of friends surprised a friend in Wisconsin that moved away on a little secret road trip. The truck can be the nervousness you feel as you are watching a treadmill balance in the bed of the truck at 8 p.m. at night while you drive it home 45 minutes from a sketchy Facebook marketplace transaction. The truck is the joy of watching a kid crawl through the gear tunnel like 6 or 7 times. A truck can be the serenity of just a late night drive when you're alone with your thoughts and just connecting with the road. A truck can carry with it all the memories and experiences of life. This is where like a heavy blended chunk of metal and wiring and plastic and rubber seals and everything that goes into making a vehicle can kind of come together to be greater than the sum of its parts. And that's when I reflect on my R1T, that's what it was to me. It was more than just a truck. And I really do hope that all of you can find your R1T or your Rivian, or if it's not either of those, just something in your life that makes you feel the way that I did when I drove my R1T. Hopefully you all enjoyed kind of hearing me reminisce about the truck I recently sold. Obviously, I'm excited to get my R2 back, hopefully soon, and I'll have video on that soon too. But yeah, if you enjoy this content and want to know more about Rivian and see more R2 videos coming up, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps small creators like myself reach the audience that is interested in some of these topics. I hope everybody has a great day, and really appreciate you watching again. And here's some more adventures in the future. Bye.